What up? What up? Welcome back to another edition of the NoStoppingKev Show. Boy, I'm pumped up today, Dad.
Why? That's because you got a game?
Yeah, it's game day. And I'm excited about our show today, too.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, game day and great show day. So, got a little bit of a double bubble. But how you doing?
I'm good. I'm
just
waiting to
good?
go see you play.
Yeah, I'm gonna get some buckets tonight. I don't know. It's gonna be my first time like lacing them up competitively since I think like July 29th. I might have played like pickup one time in between then.
It's okay. You know what to do when you get on the floor.
Yeah, I just gotta play. But you know sometimes you gotta shake the rust off and it's just one of those nights.
Yeah.
Just be like, woo! I'm also worried about my stamina too. You know when you don't go hard for a while and your lungs just feel like they on fire?
I don't know, y'all guys young. Why y'all young guys talk so much about like stamina and all like that? When I was your age, I could run all day.
Sure, I'm sure you could just not run for a year and then pick it up and run a 10.2 100 meter.
You know what? No, you gotta get back in shape, or you gotta get some kind of shape. But see, like, you know what the difference is? It's basketball shape.
Yeah, definitely.
It makes a difference. Like going out, like you are playing a game, but like just going out and playing pickup games and stuff like that isn't nothing like when you got to go to practice. When you gotta really get in shape and run drills and
you really playing to win, and you're not trying to take plays off on either end of the floor.
Right.
But yeah, I'm gonna get after it. I'm excited. Then I get to see some of my boys for the first time in a minute. My boy Danny from Penn.
Yeah.
He on the squad now, so shout out to Ghost. We're gonna see if he still got it. I'm saying see if he still got it. I gotta see if I still got it.
He still got it. Don't worry about it.
It's gonna be good. But today, on this episode, I wanted to talk about something that happened recently. Sticking along with my theme of the WNBA because WNBA it's been popping lately. You probably been missing out. You've been sleeping too, haven't you?
Well, I haven't been watching the games.
All right. Well, listen. Let me tell you a little something. I was watching the Mystics and the Las Vegas Aces series. Woo! When I tell you, I was like into the game because it was like tough back and forth. Like when I tell you they were battling, it was like one of those Game 7 of the finals atmosphere. All 4 games of the series. It's like close, competitive. Saw a lot of great players. I really enjoyed watching it. Like I can't stop talking about it. Like I forgot just how much I love watching the WNBA because it's definitely different than the NBA, right? It's a different style, still basketball, right?
That makes sense. Yeah,
but it's the nature of the game's a little bit different. But I just have such an appreciation for seeing women battle on the court because I know a lot of people don't appreciate it. It's like it's a beauty to the game. Like you just see the basketball in a different light when everything isn't about always super athleticism or just brute strength. Like it's a lot different, and you just appreciate the skill that they play with. But there was a lot of drama going into Game 4 of the Mystics Aces because in Game 3, so the Mystics from DC, that's the team one of Devin's old teammates plays on.
Right.
They were up 2-0, and then they lost Game 3. The Aces has a girl that's like 6'8", right? And, they asked her after the game question, and she was like, she said, I'm 6'8", they got girls 6'3" guarding me, they got small forwards guarding me. If you don't hit the weight room, get out the post or something like that, right? So she was taking shots, right? So I was like, oh, this is getting interesting, right? And so Mystic players on, those like an off day or whatever, they were up there doing push-ups and all the stuff feeding into it, just like, she told us to hit the weight room, so we're going to get strong. But the Mystics won Game 4, but it was tight. It was like back and forth, just good pace to the game. And then, they just made plays. But I was a little worried early on. Mystics thought we were playing into their hand a little bit because they got 6'8" girl out there, right?
Right.
She doesn't move as well as the smaller players. She's just big. She has length. So it's like, I felt like there's times where they would bail her out, especially early on in the game. Like Christy Tolliver, point guard, back off an injury, first time starting in a minute. She's a great player, too, and she was, like, assistant for the Wizards. I peeped her on the bench when I was at a game one time. I was like, okay, sister. But I love her game. But she came out, got the switch, right? And like she tried to put the moves on Liz, that's the 6'8" girl, and went to a step back and shot the three. I'm like, no,
So
go right at her, go by
she be
her.
playing at the center position.
Yeah, the 6'8" girl. Mm-hmm. A lot
But
different
I'm
than the
talking
NBA.
about the girl you were saying.
Oh no. That was the point guard. She just got her on the switch.
Oh,
yeah.
she got her on the switch.
She got her on the switch, and I just was like, yo, don't bail her out and shoot the step back three, because Liz, of course, was able to block it. I'm like, y'all gotta go at, like, if she gonna be out there and y'all playing small ball, I would be making her move, but they figured it out, won the game. So shout out to the Mystics. They are taking on the Connecticut Suns in the WNBA Finals, which I think kick off. If you're watching this or listening on Sunday, the day this drops, it kicks off tonight. So yeah, I'll be tuned in. But talking about the Connecticut Suns, that's a great team too. They swept the LA Sparks, which is probably one of the more famous WNBA franchises.
With the Sparks?
Mm-hmm. Who used to play for the Sparks, Dad?
I don't watch that.
When you think of WNBA basketball, who comes to mind as legends? Yeah, you gonna make me throw hands, man.
Yeah, well, you just gonna have to throw hands.
Lisa Leslie?
Okay, I know Lisa Leslie, but I didn't remember she played it. You know, I can't think of the person who I used to think of back when I used to watch it. I can't think of her name.
Miller. Oh, hold on. Swoops?
Yeah, sure, yeah.
Yeah.
You know what? Like sometimes it just don't come to mind. But you know, when I used to watch them, play. You know.
Yeah. But yeah. So in Game 3, which was the closeout game of the Sparks Connecticut series, Sparks were a 2 seed. I'm not sure what seed Connecticut was. Pretty sure Sparks was a 2 though.
In the division, right?
I forget how they break it down with seeding now in the WNBA. I think it's a little bit different.
Oh,
Not entirely sure. But so Sparks were taking on the Connecticut Sun. Game 3. Closeout game. Sparks are down 0-2. Stars of the Sparks. You got Candace Parker. I believe she's 2-time champion, 1-time league MVP. Or 2-time MVP, 1-time champion. I forget.
I think she 1 time. Yeah, I forgot. I read it right.
I gotta look it up now, man. I gotta get this right. Cause I'm pretty sure I'm probably second guessing myself, but hold on, we gon'. We know she got 1 MVP. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, definitely.
So Candace Parker, right here, WNBA champion in 2016, WNBA Finals MVP 2016. 2-time WNBA MVP in 08 and 13. And she made the All-Star team and a couple All-WNBA rookie teams. Well, not a couple All-WNBA rookie teams, but All-WNBA rookie team and All-WNBA team quite a few times. So very accomplished player. Then also they have NECA. I don't want to butcher her name, man. It's a tough one. Let me see if I can read for a second. Ogumake. I think that's how you say it. I'm close. Then also they have Chelsea Gray, all great players. And so in this series, the Suns, they was giving it to the Sparks. Like they was like, yo, y'all, we might be the underdog, but y'all getting this work. Like just like how the girl said, if you don't hit the weight room, get out the post. You know what the Suns players were saying after they were getting W's? Mm-hmm. A bunch of role players did that. Like, tell them a bunch of role players did that, because that's what the thing. It's like the Sparks got the stars. Suns got the bunch of role players, but the role players got that dog, you know? But, you know, so controversy happened last Sunday during the game. So Derek Fisher decided to bench his stars. He benched Candace Parker midway through the third, or at the 6-minute mark through the third. So under midway through, and she didn't play the rest of the night. Granted, she has been struggling, and she had a good game 1. Game 2, I think she might have had like 2 points. Game 3, I think she had 7 points in the first half, or 4 points in the first half. She only played like 7 minutes though, but she looked alright when she was out there. I went back and watched the game, and then I think he benched Chelsea Gray and NECA in the fourth quarter.
In the fourth quarter? Was it late in the fourth quarter or
probably early? Yeah, I kind of stopped watching after the third, but he pulled Candace at the, you know, if you're talking at around the 6-minute mark, that's pretty early. You can't even really hit your flow in a quarter. And she only played 7 minutes the first half. 7 out of the 20 minutes. Your star player only played 7 out of the 20. So you really can't get a flow. And that's not her normal minutes, right? And so you kind of see Candace when she gets pulled out saying to Fish, like, you do this now? Like are you kidding me? So
they kind of showed her doing
that. Yeah, she was definitely pissed. I think she handled herself well, though, because I would have been going off.
Now, she said that when he first pulled out the game?
Yeah, like when she went and sat down. So he must have said, like, you're done or something like that.
Oh, yeah, I'm getting ready to say, because, yeah.
And I'm sure it's a lot to it. Like, granted, I know what it's like being a coach and people on the outside not knowing everything that's going on. Like, maybe your player isn't executing the scheme the right way. There's different things that we don't always see not being in the huddle. But it's just something that's odd, which is why I want to talk about it. But they ended up losing that game by 22 points. Connecticut's son, they got these Thomas girls. So they got Jasmine Thomas, point guard. She went off for like 29.
Yeah,
then they also have Alyssa Thomas, who is just like a beast. Like, I was trying to figure out who she reminded me of. But maybe who did I think she reminded me of? I can't remember now.
That really kind of disappoint me. I mean, not disappoint me. I'm really surprised of Derek Fisher, how he played and what he came up under and playing for him to bench his stars like that. He's a coach. He's well, I guess his stretch in the NBA didn't last long neither.
Well, I mean, he won. Doesn't he? How many rings does Fish have?
Fisher got
like 5, right? I feel like he got one each time Kobe got one.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. That's what I'm saying. He was, he was a good
player.
He was a good player, and he was a point guard, so he was a player coach. So I'm really surprised that he did with that, and he's been around great coaches. When he played with the Lakers, then I think he went. Did he go out to Utah?
He was out Utah for a minute.
Play out there for a little bit.
And then I think he had, like, his daughter needed special doctor attention.
Right.
So they made it happen so he can come back to LA.
Right.
But yeah, he moved around a little bit, had a pretty good career. But he said he's looking for energy. He wasn't gonna leave any stone unturned. So he was gonna go to the bench if had to. I feel like what might have happened was he tried to light a fire under his players, and he put that threat out there, like, if y'all don't come through, y'all not gonna play. Then he felt like he had to assert himself. I also feel like it's like power dynamics too, which, like, I'm not an expert on this, but I could see it happening when you have a male coach over a female team. There could be a little bit of a power trip, and I don't know if Fish is the most liked around the WNBA.
Well, like I said, I don't know his philosophy for really doing that, but as playing and being around and coming around, I think I played for some good coaches, and from what they did, like I could remember me being in a slump. Now it ain't like he gonna bench me and say you take the rest of the night off. And the thing is,
and it's a closeout game.
But you talking about
you lose, you go home.
Yeah, but how you gonna sit your stars and you only 14 points down?
Yeah, right. That's what I'm saying. I'm just like 14 points. If it's 14 points in any game in the third quarter with 6 minutes left, you in this. Yeah. Even if it's the fourth quarter with 4 minutes left, like, you're like, yo, we in this. We get a couple stops, hit a couple shots.
Right.
Next thing you know, it's an 8-point game.
Maybe he should have got a tech to try to
light a fire. Right. It's other things you can do, man.
Do a chair record or something like that.
So it was just, it's astonishing because the bench your star. Like, think about it. Your star players are your star players. It's a reason they're not coming off the bench. Like, even if they're struggling, I don't agree with Fish's philosophy in benching them because, one, if y'all getting swept, right, it might not be 100% the players' fault. Now, I will say, watching Game 3, Sparks had some turnovers early on, right? But I think part of it, too, is a reflection of coaching, right? So, if my guy, you remember my boy Jalen?
Yeah.
When Jalen was struggling, like whenever he had a game where he was a little slow scoring in the first half, or if I noticed he wasn't getting easy looks as he would usually get, especially when I was as the assistant, I'm up there like, all right, what do we got to do differently to get him some cleaner looks? Because what I also noticed watching Game 3 was Sparks would turn the ball over. They weren't taking great shots. Like, they were getting looks, but compared to the looks the Suns were getting, they were, like, wide open, you know? So, and they also were getting points out in transition. So, as a coach, I'm like, all right, if my star players aren't scoring, right? If I got MVP caliber players on my team and they're struggling to score, we might have to do something differently. You know, I need to figure out a way, how can I get my team easier looks? So, one, I'm trying to figure that out. So, sometimes what I would do is I would tweak one of our plays, and, you know, Jalen was one of our bigs. I might put him in a guard spot, so now he's pulling, like if he had a bigger guy on him down low, so now I'm going to make him chase you around the screen on the perimeter. So now when you catch, you going downhill, he's on your hip, and a small going to have to slide over and get in your way. Right? So it's different. You got to get creative with it, right?
In my term, making adjustments.
Yes.
You know, you gotta make an adjustment. And like you're saying, like, you know, like you think because you benched them, who gonna light a fire? If you don't put them back in the game, how you gonna see a fire?
You hoping, like, I feel like what you do is you bent, like, you might pull her out early in the third and be like, yo, what are you doing? You put somebody in there, see if somebody off the bench can keep you going, and then you ease her back in there, maybe leave that person that lit the spark out there for a minute. Bring her off and get your squad back. Because now they like, all right, they see life. They like, all right, cool. When I got out the game, we were down 14. Now we down 7. Let me just get a little bucket here. Right? Because I still thought she was being aggressive.
But you know what? She's still a threat. She's more of a threat than somebody that you're going to bring in off the bench.
Definitely.
You know, she's a threat. So she's going to demand somebody. They're going to worry about her because, okay, she having a bad game. Now, like you said, if she get a goal or something, now maybe she coming out of that slump.
She might just got to see the ball going one time. She might just need
one
little fadeaway. Yeah, she might just need to get one little and one to get her going. And so I was just very confused by the decision. So I think we both agree we wouldn't have done what Fish did. Right?
Yeah, definitely not. And like I said, I'm very surprised of somebody of his caliber to do something like that.
And you know, I think the other thing is when you know when any of your players are struggling, right? You want to try to let them know like when you belong. Because a lot of times it's a little bit of a confidence thing. You're struggling, now you start battling yourself mentally in addition to, you know, not just going out there and playing. You want to try to remove that as a coach, or at least that's my philosophy. So whenever like any of my star players were struggling, any of my key guys, and I pretty much do this for any of my guys, I try to get them their confidence back. So if that means I gotta, you know, run a play for them to get them the ball, let them know like, hey, I still believe in you. Like we still gonna run plays for you. I'm gonna do that. If you know I got a player like my point guard wasn't, you know, a scorer, he was more of a facilitator, but I can always tell when he's getting flustered. So I might pull him out and I might talk to him on the bench like, yo, what you like? Tell me what's going on. What you seeing? Like, what are you seeing out there? Because I might see one thing, but he might tell me like, yo, you keep calling this play, but they jump in here every time and they making it look like this, and it's like I might not even see that because I'm looking at it from a different perspective, right? So you got to learn how to work with your players and motivate them, and instill that confidence in them, so that they can go out there and perform. And if they're not performing, you can't always say, yo, what you doing? Sometimes you got to self-assess. All right, what am I doing? Is my scheme up to par? Because if the other team kicking your butt 3 games in a row, might be a little bit more than your players out on the floor. You know what? Combination of both.
Another thing sometimes, like I look at sometimes and I try to tell some people, it's the matchup. Mm-hmm. Sometimes some team just got your number.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
And that's what I saw.
They just have your number. And like you said, now if they got your number, now it's your job to make some adjustments to that.
And like I was looking at who they kind of had guarding, like Alyssa Thomas was on Candace Parker for stretches, and she has length, and I'm sure she's a pretty strong woman, you know, right? Nobody in the WNBA is super weak, right? And she's very active, mobile. She had that toughness. Like, she's that person that, like, almost like Patrick Beverly, you know, that just going to be up in you, be very physical. She going to talk to you. And so, like you said, you hit the nail on the head. They had the matchup and they had their number.
Yeah. So some teams just match up better against somebody.
And I also feel like if it's a closeout game and I have these stars, I'm not going to bench my stars on them. Like, if it's game 2, maybe I bench them so game 3 they come out playing. But if it's win or go home, you not only going to play, she played 7 minutes in the first half, let's cut it. you're not only gonna play 11 minutes out of a 40-minute game. If you a league MVP, would you do that to a LeBron? Is Kawhi gonna play? Let's try to make it up to 48 minutes. Let's try to say Kawhi gonna play 16 minutes.
I mean,
no.
How like I'm saying, I could never see benching my star. I guess I just can't see that. I can't see.
He's a Hall of Famer.
I could see pulling him out the game, maybe talking to him, getting in his case or something like that, get him back in the game. Try to tell him, like, if you doing something bad, you know what? My main thing is for people to get back on defense, just to play defense and let the offense come to you. And defense make offense. That's what I was taught in junior high school. So I mean, everybody had bad games, and I mean, like I'm saying, they just, I didn't see the game, but from what it said, like, it gotta be they outplayed them.
Yeah, they got outplayed. The energy levels, like the Sun were playing here, Sparks were down here. They just came ready to play. They just had it was theirs.
It might have been more hungry.
Yeah. Yeah. Sometimes it's a lot of things, but one thing I will point out is I thought in the midst of adversity, which is something we talk about a lot on this show, I thought Candace handled it well, because I can think of what I might have wanted to do, or what some people I know would do, or maybe even what you would see, just people with certain levels of maturity do, but could have easily walked off the bench if she wasn't playing. She could have easily gone at it, like challenged him, more on the bench, going at it. Like, I've had players try that with me, right? There's a lot of things she could have done, but she kind of sat there. Yes, she looked, sad, like she probably was ready to cry, understandably so, because it was a very frustrating state to be in for something you give your all to. But, she kind of stayed out there, supported her teammates, and even when asked about it at the end of the game, she said, I'm perfectly fine mentally, physically, like nothing was wrong with me. You got to ask Fisher why he decided to sit me. So she wasn't going to say anything crazy. She was like, that's a question for Fish. There's a little pettiness there, but I think it's warranted, it's justified.
Well, I mean, I think she answered that correctly. And
like, what more do you want me to say? Media be baiting. They want you to say something.
Like you said, but when you talked about her walking off, she's doing some things that only was going to hurt her.
Yeah, definitely.
It's definitely going to hurt her. So I mean, like, she, it's good that she could be like level-headed and handle the situation the way that she handled it. She handled it like a professional. She handled it with a person with class. Do
you think Fish is justified at all in his decision to bench her? Or Chelsea Gray, or?
Like, I don't think he was justified, and I don't think what he said about lighting a fire. How can you light a fire by sitting all your stars? What fire are you going to light? You just put the fire out.
He put the sparks out. He put the sparks out, man.
You just put more stuff on it. You just took away really any chance that you had. Now, it ain't like he benched one. He benched 3 players. So who gonna light the fire? What fire?
He just wanted the bench. He was just throwing it at the wall and hoping something stuck, right? It's just.
But I mean, if you don't go back to him, what fire is you lighting?
Because when you think about the relationship too between a player and a coach, it's kind of like a two-way street, give and take. You got to work together, and you want to be in tandem, right?
Right.
So it's like you can't. Like, I'll be shocked if he's coaching there next year, because if I'm the owner, I'll be damned if I lose my talented player over some coach, right? But the thing is, now he's damaged that relationship, because if if I have a coach that benches me and I feel like you don't, because at that point what you're telling me is you don't trust me, because when you have a coach that sticks by you even when you're in a slump, you're like, all right, I know you've been with me at my lowest of lows and seen me come back up to be who I am. Like, I had a coach, when I was in high school, I got benched a few times, and the person he put in there didn't bring much more to the table, so he had to turn back to me. But I remember feeling like, and I was very self-aware. I knew I wasn't producing the way I would have liked to, the way the team needed me to produce. But at the same time, I'm like, Coach, how you really feel about me? Like, you knew when you was putting this other guy in who he was, because you see what we do in practice every day, right?
Yeah.
So it's not like now when you go to this other thing and you sit me for this extended period of time, I'm like, okay, Coach don't trust me anymore. And I know I got to prove myself. It's a little bit of that there. But just knowing, later on in my career in high school, had a little bit of different coaches at time. I knew I was struggling. That support would be there to be like, yo, it's gonna be all right, or try this, or I'm seeing this. I felt like they were. When I feel like you're really gonna help me through that tough time as a player, that's when I'm like, that's the coach I want on the sideline.
And I'll say, like, my experience too, and what you were just talking about, and I had to talk about my late coach, Joe Redden. I remember I got injured and I had to sit out a couple games. And my backup was, he was, yes, he was. And I was like, wow, man, this guy might take my spot, might move me down. And, like, you know what? One of the assistant coaches said to me, you ain't got nothing to worry about. You ain't got nothing to worry about. But that, like you said, and even that's the kind of confidence that Coach Ritten had on me. Mm-hmm. And, like, I remember when I first came and, like, when I first went there, how he used to pump it up and say things and what he just seen. So, like, it was there. Like, even when I was in a slump, he still went with me. He mm-hmm. might yank me out and get on me and stuff. And my head at times wasn't in the right place.
But he knew who the man was. He knew he needed to perform well. Who would give y'all the best shot at winning. I just want to go back to what I was saying before about my coach that did pull me. I still think he was a great coach. I just think, I just remember for a stretch of time, I felt some type of way and, kind of take it a little bit personal, but I knew I wasn't performing up to par necessarily, so I could say, hey, he was justified in benching me, but it wasn't the last game. It wasn't a closeout game, so it was a lot different. Now, if you bench me in a closeout game, that might be unforgivable. Benching me in a...
He benched you for a game? Or
not a whole game. I remember kind of got pulled out late in the second half.
Late in the second half.
Yeah, I remember he started playing somebody else. I think I might have didn't start the next game, but then I came off the bench and it was like, then I was back to playing my regular minutes. So I guess he tried something different, right? Temporarily, not what Fish did.
Well,
so it's a lot different. So I think Fish could be justified if it was a different situation. Like if it was one game in the middle of the season, right? Not a winner go home situation.
You know what? Like you said, I guess you could say he could justify, but I can't justify you sitting your stars. I don't how do you know that's not going to be the time they come out of that slump?
Yeah, definitely. You can't do that in the playoffs.
You know what? Have you ever...
Like, Pop would bench guys in the regular season sometimes.
Michael... I mean, let's say LeBron having a bad game. Do you sit him out? Or, if you playing back-to-back games, games, and now you got another day, you got a day rest, and then you got to go on the road again. Okay, I can see he having a bad game. Y'all out of this game. Like, you know what? You could do that. But I can't see... you doing it in a championship game. I mean, in a well, it's not
playoff closeout game, elimination game.
Yeah, but you down 14 points.
You in the game. It's not like you down. Right. Even if you down 20 in the third quarter, like all you need is a little run. You look to cut it to 10 by the half. Like you can make up a 10-point deficit in 6 minutes.
Man, I done seen.
Think about it. 2-3. You get back-to-back threes. You go from being down 20 to down 14.
I done seen it quicker than that.
I know.
I done seen it quicker than that.
I know. So he just lost all faith. And, as a player, if you lose faith in me, that's the worst thing you can do. That's why I struggled, I think, when I first got to college and was playing. Because I felt like the trust wasn't completely there.
I'm thinking he got paid, man. You got paid for this series, man. Shoot, he got some extra money.
Man, that's what it looked like. Some blue chips.
Yeah, I mean that's just
Tony.
I just can't. There's no way that I could say he justified for what he done.
Mm-hmm.
There's no way, no way,
mm-hmm.
No way.
Yeah, but this whole situation, I just looked at it and it, I always think about basketball and life, and so it's just like handling adversity. Looking at how Candace really, in my opinion, was a class act. Like, you can see the frustration, understandably so. Most basketball players, especially people that are passionate about it, will show their passions. You can kind of wear her emotions on their sleeve at times, just like any of us can. But I thought she did a great job of not kind of respecting his decision at the same time, although she didn't agree with it. Like, she definitely could have, as I said earlier, handled it a lot differently. during the game, after the game. Could have had a Twitter rant. There's a lot of ways that could have gone. But like you said, that stuff would only hurt her. And so I think that by handling it maturely and, just kind of respecting the authority that's in place really showed who, like, her character. I thought, she really, demonstrated, great moral character in that scenario, because we can probably empathize a little bit. It's a very tough spot to be in for any player.
Well, you know what? Like you saying, she was respectful.
Mm-hmm.
She handled, but see, like, you know what? Like sometimes, like when you're in that situation, when you're in a situation like that, you gotta look at what that's gonna cost you.
Mm-hmm.
Like, she could have did all. She could have went off. She could have did
fined.
this. She could have got blackballed. Because if you act so crazy, who gonna want you after that? Or who? Like, you know what?
Antonio Brown.
NC been around. She been around a while, and now your stock ain't as high as it used to be because you didn't produce in this series.
Mm-hmm.
But you know what? You showed by being class, by not going on. Even though sometimes you could be mad, just like, you know what? My boss could come tell me to do something or ask me to do something I don't want to do. Now, how I'm gonna do? I gotta hold my breath and I gotta do something, even though I might not want it. Then maybe I gotta go do, like I remember with some way I gotta go hold the pillow over my head, not let him know, or I gotta go somewhere and let it out. Mm-hmm. But she got so many cameras, like the day it's cameras, so but she did the right thing.
Yeah, definitely.
Definitely. She really did the right thing.
When do you think it's okay to challenge authority?
When do I think it's okay? Like, when they totally wrong. Like when you know something ain't right. Okay, like, you know what? Just take like I remember watching this show, this movie. It's called Courageous. It's a lovely movie, and I watched it. And like if the boss asks you to do something wrong, you might have to go. Or if somebody, say the supervisor asks you to do something wrong, now you might have to go over his head and talk to the boss, because he's having you do something wrong that could cost you in the long run. And I think it's something that Dub had to go through that was asked, and he had to go talk to somebody else, and you might have to take somebody with you.
Yep.
But if the authority is wrong and gonna cause you to do something wrong, you gotta challenge that.
Definitely.
You gotta challenge that. Because in the long run, you're going to be the one get hurt. Like, if your boss asks you to do something wrong, you're going to be the one get fired. Your boss might not get fired because you did it. Mm-hmm. So, I got to challenge that.
Yeah, sometimes you got to raise your hand.
Yeah, you got to. You got to. You got to do something like that. But you know what? You also got to respect. Like, you still got to give him, like, you still may, if your boss asks you to do something you like, you still got to respect him and do it. Especially if it got to deal with your job.
I think what you're getting at, too, is the how. It's like, it might be right or wrong to challenge in a certain instance, but how do you go about expressing your frustrations? Because there's always going to come times in life where we're hit with adversity. We don't like the state we're in, the situation we're in. It's how do you go about resolving it?
You know what? You know what I've done at times?
What you do,
It's
Pops?
when you challenge it. And how, like when. Like, okay, now.
That's something you talk about.
Now, like, you know what? I had things where my boss came at me. But you know what? When my boss walked away or in his office, knock on the door. Go in there and talk to him like man to man. Mm-hmm. This way, I'm not putting him on the spot.
Right, because you force him to have to defend himself or assert his authority.
Right.
And that's something I used to have to, or I still do. I'll probably have to do it this season, but something I had to explain to some of my players with their teachers in the classroom. It's like, listen, if he trying to get the class in order, and you yell out this or you talking on the side, and then he says something to you, and you suck your teeth and be like, no. What you think he gonna do? Like, what would you do if I did that to you right now? You'll feel some type of way, and because the teacher's in a position of authority, they're gonna assert that authority, because they can't just if they let you get away with it, now you're gonna have 20 people doing it.
Right.
So it's common sense. You gotta know when and how.
Right.
It's an important thing.
I can't, when to, when not to, how to, where to, and why to. I was taught them things,
I was taught those things too.
And that's what you got to know when to do it. It's just like they say, you got to know when to hold and when to fold. You know,
when to hold it.
Like, you know.
Unless you me, you just always win.
Huh?
Unless you're me, you just always win because there's no stopping Kev. That's what they about to find out tonight.
Yeah. Well, soon. How long game time?
Yeah, we gotta get ready. We gotta get ready to get out of here because I gotta get ready, get to the game, y'all. I'm about to go get these people buckets. It's been a minute, but I've been looking forward to this for so long.
Well, I'll be right on the sideline.
Man, I'm happy. You don't know how much I like having you at the games, man.
Yeah, because, you know, I'm going to get in when but he going to have a good game tonight. We're going to say this. He going to put his thing down.
I like having you there because there was a time where wish you was there and couldn't be there.
Yeah.
Times when you just living out in Harrisburg a little too far. At times, just it was cool because you can see what I'm seeing. Devin got somebody there to, you know, support us with. So yeah, we gonna holler at y'all again next week, and also be on the lookout for bonus episodes. Dropped the hot takes last week. Got a lot of love. I really encourage you all to go check them out, especially my basketball heads. So yeah, just be on the lookout. Make sure you follow us on Instagram at the NoStoppingKev Show. Also on Facebook at the NoStoppingKev Show. And remember, subscribe to our YouTube page and whatever platform you listen to your podcast on. And what else they got to do?
Reach one.
Whew. What that mean, Pops?
Huh?
What that mean?
Give someone an episode of this. Get somebody.
Share that thing.
Right.
Spread the love. Share the rock.
Pass it.
Yeah, it's a little give and go action, right?
That's right.
But yeah, so love y'all. We see y'all again, same time, same place next week. Peace.
Peace. We out.